Just to let everybody know, this podcast was recorded back in November. Since COVID hit, I've been busy recording anywhere from 1 to 6 episodes a week. And I'm still catching up, getting each one listed each week. But this one was recorded back in November, which I wanted to make that point because, well, when you listen to it, you'll understand why I am telling you this. Yeah, I've been doing this podcast for, oh, good Lord, I just realized, 6 years now. And I have met so many interesting people while doing this, and it's just amazing. I love it. This gentleman that I have on this episode, I wanted to talk to him about two of the companies that he owns. That's right, two. Well, I was surprised because it's not two. He actually owns 3 companies. And I actually have Joe Ayler from Tar Heel Construction Group. He is on with me co-hosting this one. And to just the way these 3 companies tie together, it's amazing. And I can honestly say, as well as with Joe, this gentleman gives a lot back to the community. So on this episode of Harford County Living with Rich Bennett, I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with the owner of, you ready for this? Bumble Junk, Chesapeake Shredding, and Chesapeake Medical Waste. So we're going to hear from Paul Majewski. Stay tuned. Instead of a sponsor for this particular episode, I want to ask everybody to do something. I want you to leave reviews of, good reviews for companies in your area. Actually, on this episode, go and leave a review for Bumble Junk, Tar Heel Construction Group, Chesapeake Shredding, and Chesapeake Medical Waste. Harford County Living, too, if you feel like it. But I want everybody to do this because I am going to be starting something, and I'll keep everybody informed when it actually takes place. But reviews are very important. We have things out there that people vote on. For example, Harford County Living, I did the Community Choice Awards. You have the Best of Harford. That's great. But keep in mind, that's people voting on stuff. The reviews are something that it tells people how great these companies are or how bad, but it's something that's very important. I was just going through all these different companies I've been following and looking at some of the reviews, which one of the things that shocks me is how many people don't even have reviews set up for their company. And you look on social media, you always see people asking for recommendations. Recommendations for a plumber, recommendations for somebody that does HVAC, recommendations for a roofer. And I'm always recommending, to people that I know. But it helps when people can look at the reviews and see from other customers or hear from other customers about the great work that these people do. So if you can, please do it. Go to Google Reviews, leave it on Facebook, Yelp, I believe, HomeAdvisor, TripAdvisor, wherever. There's so many different platforms. As a matter of fact, keep your eyes open because I am going to be setting up on something on Harford County Living where you can leave reviews about companies as well.
Welcome to Harford County Living with Rich Bennett, coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union studios. Each week, you'll hear interesting interviews, commentary, discussions, storytelling, and more. Here's your host, Marine Corps veteran, professional DJ, entrepreneur, podcaster, and my father, Rich Bennett.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Harford County Living with Rich Bennett. Today, I am joined by a gentleman that's been on the podcast several times. He's helping me today. Joe Ayler from Tar Heel Construction Group is with me. And we have a guy on that, God, I contacted you a while ago.
Yeah,
I think to try to get you on. So, Paul Majewski, who has Bumble Junk, Chesapeake Shredding, anything else that we don't know about?
And Chesapeake Medical Waste.
Huh?
And Chesapeake Medical Waste.
Okay, that's new. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, we're a couple years old, but it's tailored, teamed up with Chesapeake Shredding. It's a sub business that we are certified medical waste haulers, where we take medical waste away from doctors' offices and dental firms and pharmaceutical companies.
Is there a lot of companies that do that stuff?
There's a few.
But you're the only local one.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So Stericycle, who purchased Shred It, they basically package deal shredding and medical waste together.
Okay.
And they were targeting my clients. So we just started a medical waste company and brought all of our doctors under one contract.
Smart thinking there.
Now, how has that business been affected by COVID?
It's staying steady. I would have thought that the medical waste business would have boomed in my sector, but it really hasn't locally. It's actually maybe pulled back a little bit because during COVID, a lot of the dental offices and doctors' offices, limited patients. So their volume actually went down because of COVID. I'm sure the larger hospitals may have seen an uptick based off of testing. Like some of the pharmaceutical companies that we service, there's been an uptick, but very, very marginal. A lot of patients were staying out of the doctor's offices and hospitals because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the volume has gone down in that business a little bit.
Well, the good thing is at least there's doctors are starting to get people coming back in.
Yeah.
For now.
And especially if once this election kind of gets sorted out, if Biden, which it looks like Biden's going to get in, and the Affordable Care Act continues to stay in place, then I think that'll continue to drive that kind of medical sector.
Yeah. So as a small business, we're constantly growing. There's been a lack of quality service from some of the larger medical waste companies in the country, and so your small mom and pop or small doctor's offices and dental offices, are just looking for a better service, somebody that they can call and they get a live person answer the phone. When they send an email, they get a response back. So that's why a lot of businesses turn to us is for the customer service side.
So what exactly is medical waste?
Medical waste. So we do we provide sharps containers for people with for the needles. I'm sure you see them hanging on the wall. Anything that has pathogens, blood, or human waste on it needs to go into a medical waste container. So we either haul to an incinerator or an autoclave, and they properly sterilize and dispose of all the medical waste that the doctors and dental offices and even tattoo shops. Think of all those needles. We service a lot of tattoo shops as well, where they, when they're done with a needle on a patient, they put it into basically a sharps container that has a trap door that keeps people from sticking their fingers in and protects the employees. And we haul those to incinerators as well.
Now, with because you have some residents, people that live at home that have that. Do you service them as well?
We sure do. Even some daycares, school systems where kids have diabetes and they'll have them in for the school nurses. So that's stuff we can provide as well.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something that you don't often think about.
No.
Where does it go? And kudos to you for coming up with a business and a solution for that, because it's it kind of reminds, I don't know if in Fight Club where Brad Pitt and Ed Norton hop the fence to get the waste to build to make the soap.
See, now you're going to yell at me because I've never seen that movie, man.
Oh my gosh, that is a must.
Remember that where they get the bag of medical waste and I guess it's fat or whatever, and they make the soap out of it. But anyway, now
I gotta watch that movie.
You don't often appreciate, as far as shredding. To speak of Chesapeake Shredding and medical waste and just trash in general, I think we've got jaded as a society. just throwing stuff away, and kind of even with plumbing in third world countries where they have no modern plumbing, you kind of just flush the toilet, you throw the needle in the trash, the medical waste, and you kind of just throw it in the bag and forget about it. But it's nice to realize that a lot of this stuff is being disposed of properly.
So with the medical, because I know with shredding, you guys you do like a shred day or whatever some people call you. Do you do that with medical waste as well?
No, we haven't done a medical waste day per se. I'm not even sure how that would really look like.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the residences, and the only reason I bring it up with being in the Lions Club, one of our big things is diabetes research.
Yep.
And I know we've had people, and I've told our members, no, don't take this stuff, but they'll donate syringes or needles and everything, and
like a drug, when you get back your medications,
can't take that stuff. Then we need to dispose of it. And the only thing I knew of at the time was, I think, the sheriff's office or something does like the pill day or whatever.
Yeah, they do the prescription, the drug take back days. I think Harford County just had one recently. So that's something we do provide, where we can go to a residence and pick it up and properly dispose of and leave them a certificate saying that it was it's basically a chain of custody for them. So a lot of times we see these patients take them directly to their doctor's office, and dispose of that way. But we do have quite a few patients that call us, and it's very irregular. A home's really not going to produce much medical waste, so they might call us every couple years with a small sharps container that's full. But your doctor's offices, some of them are on a every other week schedule. Some of them are on a once a week pickup, and then your lower volume doctor's office and dental firms will go to a every bi-monthly or quarterly schedule for that stuff. And it keeps us in there. Our drivers are in there, and even on the selling side of it, when we're in there talking into these medical facilities, talking about shredding and their document protection, it's a great segue. It's all covered by HIPAA, so there's so much crossover between the two businesses. And then even with Bumble Junk, when you get into it's you're just talking trash, just a different type of trash. That's I've kind of gotten myself into these multiple different types of trash business.
So in other words, you're saying you haven't been you keep just getting more businesses because you want to keep busier.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, I can provide a great service for 3 great services for the same customer.
Right.
I'm turned into a one-stop shop. You call me and we'll get you scheduled for all 3 awesome, at the same time if you'd like. Yeah. So it's been pretty wild.
And I can attest to that. We recently moved and had Bumble Junk out to the house to clean some junk out of the house. And I think that was a big kind of release of a burden that we had, because we had piled up so much old furniture and just stuff out in the shed. And it was nice to be able to call Paul and Bumble Junk and have them come out and just kind of just release us of that burden to kind of move all that stuff or get rid of it. And then, as we were moving, to take all of our sensitive documents down to my office, because Tar Heel Construction Group uses Chesapeake Shredding to shred all of our paper, and to be able to dump that in the bin there. That was a big.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
And you started off with Chesapeake Shredding, right?
That's correct. That was my first business. Chesapeake Shredding is about to turn 10.
Only 10?
Only 10 years old.
I thought you were around longer than that.
Nope.
Wow.
10 years ago, my wife was giving birth to our 3rd child, and I lost my job 2 weeks after he was born. So, kind of, my wife was a stay-at-home mom, and we just, got together and started brainstorming ideas of what we were going to do, and put everything on the line, leveraged everything we had, and started Chesapeake Shredding. And it's Britt and I really have been blessed with how it's taken off. But a lot of that's support from the community. Our customers, and there's a couple customers come to mind. Joe's one. Joe, tells everybody about us. He's been a phenomenal referral partner. Cheryl Davis Cole, who owns Beacon Staffing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember going into her office. She was one of our first clients. And I'd go into her office, and every time I showed up, because I was running a truck. We were a one-man show at one point.
Right.
Every time I showed up, she'd have a Post-it note, and she said, "Hey, Paul, this is my friend so-and-so. This is their company. I already pre-talked to them. They use Shredded or they use Iron Mountain.
That was the other one I couldn't think of.
Yeah, give them a call. They're ready to switch to you. You match their price, and give them a good service. And so over the course of a year, Cheryl closed me 12 new customers, at least 12 new customers. And it was just amazing. But there's so many people in Harford County, small businesses that were like that.
Yeah.
Even within the government sector, our county councilmen, were utilizing our service and spreading our name to different small businesses, and our county has just been it's just built by all these small businesses that just support each other.
Yeah.
And it's been phenomenal.
One of the things when I used to sell Toshiba copiers, and we also had shredders that we were trying to sell to our clients.
Yep.
And it was the guys with the truck was our biggest competition. I had a hard time trying to sell an office shredder to a company. Finally, where I just gave up on it, focused on the copiers. But explain to everybody why it's so much easier and better for them to use you than saying buying those big shredders.
Yep. So the big savings. So the big shredders are expensive.
Yeah.
But the big savings is on labor. When you start factoring in, all right, I have an employee that is shredding 2 hours a week. Doesn't seem that much, but when you start looking in, now you're talking 8 hours a month, and I would say the average salary of of that said person is going to be between $15 and probably $20 an hour once you factor in all your payroll expenses and all. So if you got a $20 an hour person at 8 hours a month, you're talking $160, which is way more than a monthly contract for our company. So, it's just to shred on site, to hire our company tends to be about a 50% savings for a small office that has, say, five employees.
Right. And the other advantage of that is, I guess, if that company has a shredder, that shredder breaks down, then they got to pay to get it fixed.
That's correct too.
So and with Chesapeake Chesapeake Shredding, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Is it just paper, or do you guys do like CDs and all that?
Yeah,
too?
so anything with information on it. So when we shred hard drives,
get out of here.
No, cell phones, laptops, iPads. We shred. We even shred materials. Say a company makes a run of we'll say clothing,
right?
That was defective, but it is. We'll go with police uniforms. We shred police uniforms. We shred for the Ravens. So if they have merchandise that they can't throw in the dumpster because they don't want it just being distributed to the general public. We can shred those type of materials as well.
I bet you got a lot of government contracts, don't you?
We have a few. We're huge over on the on APG.
Right.
Aberdeen Proving Ground has been a huge supporter of our business for both Chesapeake Shredding and Bumble Junk. We've got quality employees that the big thing is they have problems getting people on base because of security reasons. So we've got all these security checks in place, and we do a ton of business federally as well, but we do state and local county.
Well, I'm glad that I knew that you do computers and hard drives.
Oh yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot of. We get pallets at a time. I think we actually just did a huge job. I think we did like 64 Gaylords, so about 2,000 pounds per pallet of just monitors recycled. So we do a lot of electronics recycling as well.
Even the CRT monitors?
Yep.
Really?
That's correct.
See, and that's always because I used to be in the IT field, and people are asking me all the time, "Hey, Rich,
it's expensive. To the CRTs are a whole nother ball game. It is an expensive
always
process.
trying to pawn their CRTs, their old printers, or their old computers off on me. It's like, no, I don't do that anymore.
Yep.
Now I know where to send them because that's especially for the companies, because a lot of companies, that's another thing I hated, was going in, erasing that old hard drive, re-imaging it, and everything was a pain in the...
What about small appliances?
So we recycle them. That's more of a Bumble Junk side of things. We do refrigerators, washers, dryers, freezers, do a ton of that, but they all go to a recycle center.
So with that, because I know a lot of companies that recycle the stuff, how does that work? I mean, you're just taking it to a recycling center?
Yeah, so we use multiple recycling outlets. So,
okay.
Chesapeake Shredding runs, because we do a lot of recycling with Chesapeake Shredding as well, and we're running our trucks Northern Virginia up through Philadelphia every day. So we use numerous R2 recycling centers around the region. And then we even have the trucking. We've gotten large enough where we're trucking stuff to specific recyclers for the project.
Wow. Now, with all right, let's go to Bumble Junk a minute. Because you guys are going in basically getting rid of people's junk, although I don't like that word because sometimes there's some good stuff in that junk.
It is. So we utilize a lot of nonprofits, faith-based ministries.
I was going to ask you. So like Fan of Faith Ministries and all that?
They've been fantastic. They've taken a lot of items from us. Habitat for Humanity is another one we support. Even stuff like we recently, I knew the Boys and Girls Club in Aberdeen was looking for a new pool table. So we came into one, a family was moving, and we were able to take it up and donate it to the Boys and Girls Club in Aberdeen.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're constantly moving stuff, and we do our best to keep as much stuff out of the landfill as possible. That's been tough with COVID, though, as well. A lot of the big nonprofits that we used shut down for COVID. So we were really turning to the small churches, especially in some of the inner city churches, to take, clothing donations and some of the furniture that we couldn't get rid of, in other avenues that we had used to. So a lot of times we have numerous locations that we store stuff, and I'm going to say junk, but it's sometimes it's nice credenzas or a dresser. We just donated a dresser to a lady that reached out to us saying, "Hey, I'm in need of this," and it just happened. I shot her a picture, and she said, "That's exactly what I'm looking for," and she came up and picked it up. So we have some of that. We've even had bookstores. We'll keep a supply of books in the warehouse.
Right.
And they come in, and say, "Hey, I'll take all these books." And what they don't take, we take down to a paper recycling center. And they basically shred the books and recycle them.
I hope you have a huge warehouse.
We have a couple different locations.
Okay.
It's a nice thing about having a couple different companies is we have a few locations we work out of. And it helps our guys too because they're central. We got a place in Dundalk, we got a place in Cockeysville, we have a place in Joppa. We have 2 locations in Forest Hill and 1 in Jarrettsville. So sometimes it's regional, where we can get guys to drop stuff off. And a lot of times, they fill the truck, they'll leave the donatable items on the back of the truck, and they'll stop at a donation center and drop them off before they go to the landfill.
Damn.
So they're responsible for making that decision on what's donatable and what's.
Yeah, ultimately, if we don't have a manager on site, they got to be responsible. But it's a day of electronic communication now. Literally, our guys can FaceTime the office, text a picture, text a short clip to the office and say, hey, this is what I got. Get working on moving these items. And that's how we do it.
Any cool stories of special relics or antiques or...
We have a lot. We have a lot of good stories. We've come into some pretty wild and sometimes dirty items. It's pretty crazy. But we've seen, and it's the more you're in business, the more crazier stories you have. Chesapeake Shredding, we had an old business that was closing down, family-run business that was closing down, and they were emptying file cabinets, and in the back. Underneath the files was a bank envelope, and our driver decided, he opened it before he shredded it. Not a bank envelope, but those the old leather deposit envelopes. So he opens it, and there's a bunch of cash in it. So he gives it to the store owner, and I get a call later that day, and the guy was like, "Hey, just so you know, I tipped your guys big." Your driver handed me $10,000 cash.
What?
That was a deposit that was supposed to be made back in the 60s.
Wow.
So we come into some wild wild
what
stories.
the thing is, that driver, that's somebody that's loyal and honorable. I mean, how many other people would do that? Some people would just
we try to find all. Our employees are really honest.
That's honest. That's that's good. Though.
We try to find people that truly believe in what goes around comes around.
Yes.
And it's they don't want that on their shoulders. So that's the type of people we try to hire and keep really good employees.
That can be a lot on your shoulders. You think about it, man. It's just. You hear about it, the stories all the time. Somebody's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have kept that. I should have passed it on."
Well, I mean, especially I know
karma.
There's a big flipping subculture out there now where you can find an old, 6-pack of Coke bottles or an old glass or an old figurine, Italian something or other, and you can get on eBay and get online and flip it. So I mean, having people that you can trust, when they come across those items, it is key, because I know, a lot of people visit these yard sales and go yard sailing just to find these items that are considered to be junk.
Yep.
But really can be flipped for
every
$20,
man,
$30
somebody else's treasure.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, even in the junk removal side, and there's plenty of times people give us good items and it's like, hey, please, people want us to find good homes for the items. They don't want to get rid of them. It's a whole thing. If you see our guys loading our trucks, it may be trash. It may be destined for the landfill. But our guys are going to treat that thing. Say it's an old lamp. They're going to treat it with care. They're not going to just chuck it and break it. That's somebody's a personal relic that at one point they enjoyed. So we even treat people's trash with care.
So the big difference with Bumble Junk and say these other, because a lot of people get the roll-offs, the containers.
Yep.
You have guys that are actually loading the stuff in there. Then.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And we have a roll-off division as well for like our contractors
right.
and businesses that have the labor available or want to utilize their labor, where they want a can to sit on site for days on end or a month. But the core business of Bumble Junk is you point at it and we make it disappear.
Right.
You tell us what you want gone and we'll remove that for you. I know, like, I got a crew. I stopped in this morning and, they were disassembling a large pool table to remove. We're doing this pool table probably weighs 600, maybe 700 pounds. It is a big old pool table. So we got to remove the slate and everything. This one will be destined for the landfill, sadly, but we got to take it down to pieces for that.
I know the last time that we used Bumble Junk, it was really a convenience for us. I mean, we had TVs that were still working, furniture that was in good shape, and it was just a convenience thing for us where we knew we could trust Paul and trust Bumble Junk that that it would go somewhere meaningful. And then on the Chesapeake Shredding side, down at our office, we've got a convenient bin in the office, and I was going to say this earlier that all the personal documentation from my personal home I take down to the office as well as all of my team.
Right.
So if instead of having my everybody on the team that knows that they can bring their documents to the office and have it safely disposed of, because there's a big trust factor in his side of the business as well. Data, privacy. My grandmother passed 2 weeks ago. We had to dispose of a lot of sensitive documentation, and I was very grateful that I could take it to my office and know that it was going to be disposed of properly, knowing that Paul's running Chesapeake Shredding. So,
And that's awesome that especially you provide that service for your employees too. We tried to encourage our businesses to do the same for their employees, because on average, a identity theft, the average person will spend over 80 hours on the phone trying to correct an identity theft issue. And so it's in the employer's benefit, to allow them to utilize that service to protect their information as well. Because if you got to spend 80 hours on the phone, that's one, the stress is gonna affect your employee, and then when they have to make those calls between 9 and 5, so it's going to either happen during business hours, or the employee's going to have to take off. Or come in late, or do it on their lunch breaks. It's identity theft is a mess to deal with and clean up.
Man, one thing I do want to mention, because this is something that I admire about you and Joe both. You guys give back big time to the community, and a lot of people don't realize how important that is. And that's something that, you got both. The matter of fact, right up the road here is a little garden, the Jobtown Grow. And I know you got, I think you donated mulch, or you both did, or something.
We did all the compost hauling.
Yeah. You guys even have that, but I mean, it's just, and the other stuff, God, you with Harford Family House. And now that all this stuff you're finding, you're donating to Boys and Girls Club, to these ministries. That is awesome, man. I just, God,
I think it's, and I've said this before. I just think it's just part of being a responsible business owner. Yeah. And that's my opinion of responsibility in business. Is obviously the number one's going to be your brand and the health of the business, but to give back to the community in which your business operates in, I think is just it just makes sense.
Yeah, you're right.
Want that kind of that reciprocal kind of relationship, citizens of the county use our business, and then we in turn give back to the community.
Yeah.
So it just
but unfortunately, you see a lot of businesses that don't do that.
Yeah. You do. And that's on a person. Joe and I have had some big conversations about this, even recently. We're both live, work, and play, right here in Harford County. Yep. And, we're both raising families here in the county, and we both want our children to grow up in the best county in the United States. And the best way to make this the best county is for us to chip in, physically, mentally, and financially to create, a quality community. And, we've both kind of made that commitment to grow, here locally and to give back as much as we can.
And I thank you guys for that. And I hope more people follow your footsteps, seriously, because that's big. And a lot of people don't realize that, unfortunately, but it is It's huge. So I got, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I don't know if you know Alicia Hamilton from Found in Faith Ministry.
Very well.
We've talked about this several times, and it's amazing.
And it's nonprofits like that. She's becoming a big nonprofit. They're really making they're really making an impact, and she just has just a fantastic heart, and she's out there helping the most vulnerable, which is awesome. And then on top of that, she's not just about her nonprofit. Mm-hmm. Alicia is out there. You see her out there helping all these other nonprofits as well. And that's what, makes this community so great is people around here aren't selfish like that.
Nah.
That everybody's helping each other.
I love going down there and helping her out sometimes, even though it breaks my back, but that's okay. Still love you, Alicia. Paul, go ahead and tell everybody how first of all, Bumble Junk, how do they get a hold of you for that?
Sure. So Bumble Junk, we have a fantastic software online. Like if you wanted us to show up at your house, you hop online on our website, www.bumblejunk.com, and that's Bumble like the bee. Mm-hmm. So bumblejunk.com, punch in your zip code, and it'll pull up a calendar of our availability. And you can just...
That's awesome.
You can open up your schedule, say, oh, you know what? I got Wednesday at between 9 and 11 available. Let me book for tomorrow between 9 and 11. You click on it, punch in your information, punch in the details, and all you're setting up is a free estimate. So our guys come out, you show them what you have, and they'll give you the free estimate. And if you're good with the estimate, they'll go ahead and remove those items right then and there. If it's like, oh, you know what, I need to talk to my husband about it. Not a problem. You haven't committed to anything, give us a call and reschedule, and you can schedule at your convenience, or you can hop back online and schedule that way. You can call us at 888-BUMBLE-JUNK. That's another great way that comes right to our Forest Hill office, and, we can schedule you right over the phone.
One key thing, and if I'm wrong, let me know, then I'll edit it out. But the big difference, because you see, I see on Facebook a lot people offering to haul junk away. You guys are licensed, correct?
That's correct. Licensed, insured. Yep. So
okay.
You don't. Yeah, that's. You see that, and kudos to those guys. Everybody has to start somewhere. Some people start smaller than others. I can think back to post-high school days. Now, I had an LLC, but I was doing a little bit of junk removal on the side for some commercial. It's kind of how, before I purchased Bumble Junk, it's how I got into it.
Right.
I did that back in the day. There's high schoolers that, help out their neighbors or their mother's friends, or, it's a great little way of earning money. But the problem is, if somebody comes in your home and falls down your steps and gets hurt, you're liable. It's your homeowner's insurance that's going to pay. We're licensed, insured, bonded. We have strong young men that really take care of your home. We're going to make sure we're not going to beat up your walls and bang in the stuff. They do a fantastic job of removing the items. But we are a professional business.
Right. That's good.
I can provide a direct testimonial for that. Quick, very respectful of my personal home, and I called Paul kind of at the last minute and called Bumble Junk at the last minute, and then they were able to come through for me. And when the items were gone, it was kind of like you don't realize it's like that.
A lot of weight being lifted off your shoulders.
It is, man. And you don't. I'm a less is more kind of guy. So that the less clutter and the less things that I have in the house that I'm not using, the better. But a direct testimonial here to a fantastic experience for sure.
And from what I've been seeing from the reviews are out of this world. So, which is good, and that's something else. I'll talk about that on another podcast. Chesapeake Shredding. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you for that.
Yep. You can check us out online, ChesapeakeShredding.com. That's Chesapeake without an E on the end. So it's www.chesapeake Shredding.com, or 410-322-8700 is our office line. So, we don't have a way of booking online for shredding, but that's more of a call and talk, or shoot an email,
right,
and have a conversation. We base it off of, the amount of stuff that you have, how many banker's boxes or legal boxes or file cabinet drawers of documents that you have if you're looking to do a purge. So we do a lot of one-time shreddings for people. Sometimes it's just somebody that had a small business at one time, or are moving and just have 2 file cabinets that over 30 years they've filled with stuff and they no longer need it. So we can come out to even homes and shred documents like that. Or if you have you're currently using a shredding service, we can quote you over the phone. Just call with what you're utilizing. Is it consoles? Is it 96-gallon bins? Is it 64-gallon bins? Are they little 24-inch under desk consoles? How many you have? How often you would like us to pick up? Because some people, every business is different. Some people, want a once a week pickup. Other people want a once a month pickup. Some are once a quarter. Right. So, we just there's some details to get so we can give you an accurate price.
All right. Why no E in Chesapeake?
So, it's kind of a...
It wasn't important. You just shredded it, right?
Yeah. No. So when I started Chesapeake Shredding, we were only up and running for a few months, and we got a cease and desist letter from the world's largest shredding company who had purchased a Chesapeake Shredding out of Chesapeake, Virginia back in the 90s.
Man.
So, talked to a lawyer, and he said, you can fight it, but, they've got corporate lawyers, and it could cost you at least $20,000 or more if, it goes to court. You'll win, but, you want to do that. And so I had talked to a couple of the guys in my circle, and I think I talked to 3 people and said, hey, this is what happened. We've already branded. I've already got, labeling done. I've already got business cards. What should I do? And, I basically came up with the idea to just drop an E and change the name, or shred the E, if you will.
Right.
And, so I told 3 people, and then within a few hours, I had 8 different phone calls from, their peers that were also, friends
right.
of mine as well. Hey, man, I don't like it. You can't misspell Chesapeake. We're in Maryland here, and I was like, man, that's brilliant marketing. I told 3 people and heard 8 people.
Yeah.
Back from 8 people, and literally everybody I talk to about Chesapeake, when they see there's no E on the end, they're like, how did that happen? So it gives me, it's always given me a platform to speak on.
Yes.
And to be honest, this is not the Bay. This is a document shredding company. So
kind of reminds me of Joppatown. Some people spell it with the E, some people spell it without.
Yep.
And nobody can win that argument, but everybody talks about it.
Right.
So,
and there's been a few restaurants, there's been a few businesses that have done that over the years.
Yeah.
And, it's worked for us.
It's a brilliant move.
And it saved us a lot of money in the very beginning of startup when business was really tough.
I was going to say, because, you already had that. To change the name completely would have been cost more money too.
That's correct.
Man, all right. So what about Chesapeake Medical Waste?
So Chesapeake Medical Waste.
E on the end of Chesapeake Medical Waste?
No E. There is no E.
That was thrown out too.
Is there an E on the end of waste? No,
yes,
I'm joking.
So same. You can go to ChesapeakeMedicalWaste.com. There is, you can call us at 410-322-8700 as well. That works very tight-knit with Chesapeake Shredding. So we're run out of the same office
Okay.
there. So, and a lot of times we're package dealing for, and it's a specific customer for the medical waste.
Right.
You're either a funeral home or some type of medical office
Doctors.
to utilize. Yep.
Yeah.
Or a pharmaceutical company. We have some big pharmaceutical companies that utilize us as well, or labs.
Right.
But it's a pretty specific business, but we can save people. We can do a package deal of 2 contracts all in one. You're calling one office for all your needs. You're dealing, with the same point of contact, and it just makes your life easier. And
Makes sense.
yeah, it's so, and we can offer discounts if you package deal the services.
Right. Anything else to add?
Oh, I could talk all day.
No, just like I said before, we Tar Heel Construction Group uses Bumble Junk in our contracting services. We use Chesapeake Shredding at our corporate office, and I've used both services personally. And Paul is just a great guy, involved in the community, runs his businesses very well, and we're glad to be a partner and to patronize his business, and just a good dude, good businesses, and a great Harford County citizen.
While we're at it, Joe, tell everybody again how they get a hold of you.
TarHeelConstructionGroup.com, roofing and exteriors, 410-638-7021.
So everybody listening, you got a whole package deal here. You can get a new roof, you can get the gutters, the whatever exterior, right?
Siding,
curb appeal,
roofing, and anything that encompasses the exterior of the home.
So while they're doing that, then you can have Bumble Junk come in and clear out your house. The stuff that you've been taking to the office, you can go there and get it, shredded. It's a whole package.
You'll be ready to go.
That's it.
Little home makeover.
Hey, I just want to thank Joe for the kind words. Tar Heel is a phenomenal partner.
Yes.
We refer them. It's really nice to have somebody that you can trust, where we try to keep a phenomenal name here in the community, and it's nice when I get a lot of calls. Hey, Paul, I need the best. Who can I use for my roof? Who's going to do a great job? Who's going to be responsive and leave my home clean? People, when you hear Tar Heel, you don't hear of damaged lawns or shrubbery or anything like that. They really have that curb appeal and leave your home beautiful. So it's wonderful to be able to have a partner like Tar Heel to refer our work to. And it's awesome when I get the call, from my customer saying, hey, I asked you for a referral. You knocked it out of the park. Tar Heel did a phenomenal job.
I hear that all the time about Tar Heel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, where's that $50?
Let's not forget about Rich with Harford County Living.
It's fun doing it, man. But one of the everybody listen, I want you to do something for me, and I never talked about this, but it's something big that I'm going to be launching. So you have Bumble Junk, Chesapeake Shredding, Chesapeake Medical Waste, and Tar Heel Construction. If you use their services, leave a review, whether it be on Facebook, Google Reviews, or wherever else you can leave reviews. Leave a review about them, because, number one, that goes, Joe, I know for you, that goes a long, long way.
Well, for both of our businesses, whether it's Google, it's Facebook, it's Nextdoor, it's word of mouth, the referrals, just using our services, especially in the midst of COVID, and just how it's affected the small business community. Anyway, any sort of positive kind of review or like I said, using the services definitely helps.
Yeah, that without a doubt. And follow them on whatever social media platform you can find them on. Probably going to be more social media platforms popping up soon, so you might be able to find them on there too. You never know. Paul, Joe, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You.
I want to thank Joe Ayler from Tar Heel Construction Group to, coming on and actually helping me co-host again. It's always nice to see Joe on the show. And I also want to thank Paul Majewski for coming on and talking about, what he does in the community and his businesses. And I just want to remind everybody, if you need anything for the outside of your house, roofing, gutters, windows, siding, whatever, contact Joe at Tar Heel Construction Group. I'll have the link in the show notes. And if you need any type of medical waste, shredding, or just stuff removed, go ahead and give Paul a call. Bumble Junk, Chesapeake Shredding, and Chesapeake Medical Waste. And I'll have links for all three of his businesses in the show notes as well. Few things that I would like to remind you all about. Number one, please leave a review of the podcast. All you have to do is go to lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. Again, that's lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. And while you're at it, if you can, please buy me a coffee. That's right, buy me a coffee. Well, you're not really buying me a coffee. You're making a donation so I can keep this podcast going. Yeah, it's because of you and my sponsors that I'm allowed. Well, I'm not allowed. I'm able to keep this podcast going. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot more that you can even imagine. So just go to buymeacoffee.com/Harco Living. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/Harco Living. And it's that time again. That's right. I am giving away a $25 gift card to Route 24 Ale House. The winner's going to be chosen on Wednesday, March 17th, my father's favorite holiday, St. Patrick's Day. And all you have to do is leave a review of the podcast. And you know where to go to do that. lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. So leave a review. I'm going to pick one person at random. That person will get a $25 gift card to Route 24 Ale House, where you can go and enjoy a kickin' bourbon burger, which is out of this world. Wings have to be the best wings around, and all types of different beer on tap. So again, just leave a review, and good luck. March 17th, we're going to have the winner.